Hello guys, my name is Mayuso, and I'd like to say that I'm so happy to be here with you. And just remind you that each 15 days we're gonna have this webinar, and the goal is talking about from any aspect of HEFLO, that it could be environment, process editor, automation, documentation, and so on. We have a lot of features on HEFLO, and feel free to send your message to us. You can use our chat to do that. All right, feel free to do anytime you want. So let's get started. Let's see if we have any. Okay, we have a message from Kawaki. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Kawaki. Kawaki is from Japan. Flow is in fact around the world, isn't? So let me read the message. Uh, Hi, my name is Kawaki, and I'd like to know how to start a process instance by web services. Oh, great question, Kawaki. I'd like to take advantage and show you that you can access some articles on HeFlow. Okay, we've already created something about this topic. Of course, I'm going to show how to create run tests, create instance on production part. Okay, there's no problem. Using Postman, this is the goal of this webinar. But as I said, I'm going to show you that you can access our knowledge base. All right, knowledge base. And here you're going to find a lot of articles about our features, configurations, documentation as well. All right, here you can see the links, in order to see. For example, here you have the web services, all right? You can click here. Then you're gonna access another links in order to see the details about each part of configuration, all right? But let's go back to the process, and I'm gonna show how to start a process instance by web service. The first step is to select the message start event, and then under properties on the connector, I'm gonna select the web service. After that, we're gonna configure web service, right? As you can see, we have the content type, JavaScript object, authentication type, basic auth, method, post, and access key. In order to start creating your instance by web service, you need to use authentication method here on HEFLO, right? In order to do that, we're gonna use the basic auth. I'm gonna show how to do that using the Postman, all right? But before I need to generate our key, I'm gonna click on this link and then click new key, all right? I'll make the download, perfect. I'll go back to our form just to show you the fields that we have on this form, all right? We have here company name, the type is text, type of services, text as well, and market value, it's currency, all right? Great. And the goal is to fill this form when I make a call by web service to HEFLO. Perfect. Let's go back to the web service configure. On this part, I'm gonna add the parameters, name. It's not necessary to have the same description of your field, all right? But I recommend to have very similar. Company name, service, this case type of service. And here I'm gonna put value. Marketing. Perfect. After I create the parameters, I can generate the JSON. This is gonna help me to create the body of the request, all right? Now I'm gonna present to you the Postman. This is the tool that I'm gonna use in order to create the request to HEFLO. The method that I'm gonna use is the post. We have to call this endpoint, all right? But I didn't get it yet. Let's go back to the body. I'm gonna select raw and then the JSON configuration, all type. I'm gonna click on verify just to be more easily to identify my fields. I have the name, service, value. This information I copy from HEFLO, I can change here. For example, I'm gonna put my name. Service, I'm gonna put test as well, and the value I'm gonna keep the same value, right? Let's go back to the HEFLO because I need to get now the URL, all right? I'm gonna use the test URL in order to, the first step, of course, is gonna be a good idea. Run some tests in your process editor in order to see if your integration is okay. But pay attention to this part because when I publish the process, the link is gonna change to the production one. I'm gonna show some scenarios about this part, right? I'm gonna copy the link. Let's go back to the Postman. Now I need to configure the authorization. Here on Postman, I'm gonna have a lot of options. I'm gonna select the basic auth, and I'm gonna access the file that I've downloaded. All right, just a moment. I'm gonna get here my computer. This is the file. We're gonna have the key and the secret. In this case, key is gonna be the username. I'm gonna copy my computer. Maybe you have some space here. Pay attention to this part because if you have space, probably gonna have a problem. All right. In the end of this sentence, I delete. Just make sure that you have any space here. I'm gonna do the same to the password. Password, I'm gonna paste and show you as well. Just make sure that you have any space here and here as well. Okay, let's go back to the body. I believe that you have all configured in order to make your request. Let's see what happened next. I'm gonna click on send button and let's wait for the response from HEFLO. Perfect. This was the response from HEFLO. We have some information on this part, but the most important information on this part is going to be the number in order to identify the instance that are going to access to see our information. I'm going to refresh this page just to load the fields. All right. Now I'm going to access the number 13. And here, perfect. Now you can see that all fields gonna fill properly without problem. Great. Now let's simulate, for example, a problem. Let's see. Let's go back to the form. As you can see, we have here a currency type. Imagine that instead of I send the currency one, I send a text one. Let's see what happened HEFLO. Let's go back to the Postman. And here, gonna use, for example, a text. I'm gonna do something like this. Test. I'm gonna send a message. Creates normally the instance, but let's see on the process what happened. Okay. As you can see now, I have a problem. Okay. We have name, my use service test, and value test. Here you can see that, of course, you need to have this detail, all right, about your process. Because if you already know that the value is a currency type, on this message, you can notice the problem, all right? There is another way to do that as well. You can click here on the logs and then web service logs. As you can see, start date, when I make the request, the execution time, the time that it takes to make the request, the address, the target URL. This one is the target that you have on the process, the one that I use on the Postman to make the request, the method, income, and here on the envelope, you can see the response from HEFLO, and on the request, you can see the same information that you have on the message on the process dialog, all right? So as you can see on value, you have the value test. That's a problem. To fix this, you just go back to the process and put a correct information. Now, if you make the same request, everything's okay. Now, let's suppose another scenario. Imagine that your team said to you, okay, it's not necessary any more tests. You have seen that everything is okay about integration. And then you publish your process. Just pay attention to this part, please. Here, test URL. When you publish your process, the URL going to change to the production one, as I said before. And then let's see what happened. I'm going to publish the process automation. Perfect. I'm going to just open that. And let's suppose that our development team think that's necessary 2 or 3 more tests, right? But now the URL has changed. If you go back to the postman, you do the same test. Let's see what happened. The test URL is invalid anymore because the process version is already published. It's a very clear message, right? In order to fix this, you need to generate a new version of the process. It is not necessary, for example, generate a new URL. You're gonna keep the same one, right? Because imagine that each time you generate a version, this URL has changed. It's gonna be a problem to your development team to keep manage this part, right? That's why you keep the same URL. And now, if you go back to the postman and make a new request, it needs to create a new, as you can see, a new test without problem. All right. Now, for example, if you want to run tests after your development has tested enough, you can publish the process, and you need to communicate then that the URL is going to change, right, to production one. This is a good step to notify your team about this part. But let's suppose a less scenario case. Let's suppose, for example, you publish the process. Imagine that it's another employee in your team. Okay, let's publish this process again. And again, your develop team think that it's necessary 2 more tests, because they try to use more fields, put more information. And then another guy in your team just access the process and then send this link to them. Oh, hello guys, yes, you can run some tests. Probably if, of course, they're gonna try to run the same test, gonna have the same problem that we have before. And then this guy in your team just copy this link. Okay, I believe that this link has changed. I don't know why. And then send to the develop team. Develop team gonna use this new link and send a message. But at this moment, this work item is gonna be a production one, not in the process editor. This can happen. That's why important always pay attention on this configuration, right? For example, here you can see the work item as, for example, here the number 6. Go back to your process and try to access the number 6. You can see, all right. Probably it's gonna be here on the tasks. Let's see. Number 6, all right, because it's not a test anymore. It's a production one. You need to pay attention to this part, all right, in order to don't make these mistakes. It's very common mistake that can happen sometime, but it's possible to avoid. Just pay attention these 2 kind of URL that you generate in your process. If you'd like to keep your run more tests, you need to go back to your process, generate a new version. You don't start do any more configuration. Okay. Another point, another important part here on the web services. Remember that I generate a key. You can use this key to any integration on HEFLO. If you have other process, you can use the same configuration, right? It's not necessary all the time create a key in order to configure your calls of web services on HEFLO, right? You need to keep, of course, when download this file, you need to save the file in a safe environment, to be in your computer, on your network, anyway. But it's not necessary to all the time generate a key to configure your web service, right? So I believe we cover the main part about this web service. If you have any more questions about this part, you can, as I show you, access our knowledge base. There you're gonna see a lot of links in order to see more details. Here in the chat, I already sent the link about web service as well. So that's all for now. Thank you for your time. Have a nice day. Bye bye.